여러분, 안녕하십니까? 저는 벨기에 대사관
So,
상무부에 근무하는 상무장
good afternoon. I am
대입니다.
Mark de Wessel from the
세미나의
Embassy of Belgium.
진행자
I'm very honored to serve as a moderator of this session.
잘 못해요.
But because
그래서 영어로
I
하겠습니다.
cannot speak Korean well, so I will switch to English.
First of all, thank you to BioPlus for having our session in your conference program. Also, thank you to everybody who is attending this event. Our session today the purpose of our session today is to explain how the Wallonia region of Belgium can be a useful place for Korean companies that want to approach the European market. But what is Wallonia? Wallonia is the southern part of Belgium. Wallonia is an interesting place for life science companies, as you can see from this slide. I don't know if we see the slide. Okay. So this slide is a list of foreign companies which have invested in Wallonia, in life science companies. Please bear in mind that Wallonia is smaller than Korea. Therefore, the number of transactions in a short period of time also illustrates how dense the life science industry is in Wallonia. Also, the list of companies on this slide is not final yet. For example, 3 weeks ago, American AbbVie company announced that they would like to acquire the medtech company iStar, which is also based in Wallonia, in case the transaction would be a value of $500 million. Today's session, we will start with 2 videos. The first video is from Mr. Lahort. Mr. Lahort is an expert at our National Agency for the Health Products. That agency is similar to your MFDS. Mr. Lahort will explain about the role of the agency in a European framework. After that, there will be a video of Mr. Toussaint. Mr. Toussaint is a logistics expert. Mr. Toussaint will explain about the ecosystem in Wallonia and about the value chain strategy in the Wallonia region. After that, Mr. Toussaint will join our seminar live through the Zoom. We will be able to discuss with Mr. Toussaint for about 10 minutes. Finally, Mr. Moreau will also join us live through the Zoom. Mr. Moreau will explain about his company, CubeID, and about their decision to open an office in Wallonia. If you have any projects in Europe, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can write an email to this email address, or you can call our office. Our Korean team will be happy to assist you also in Korean language. Finally, let me show you this booklet. This booklet contains a list of companies which are based in Wallonia and which can provide useful services to Korean companies that approach the European market. Please feel free to take a booklet back home. Thank you again for your interest. I suggest that we now start with the video of Mr. Lahort.
The Federal Agency for Medicines and Healthcare Products is the Belgian competent authority in charge of both the quality, safety and efficacy of medicinal products and healthcare products such as medical devices, in vitro diagnostics and blood cells and tissues, both for human and veterinary use. This includes both products that are in clinical development as well as products that are already on the European market. Our agency is located in Brussels at the heart of Europe. The Belgian agency closely collaborates with a number of stakeholders, including academia, small-medium enterprises, both global companies from pharma industry and medtech industry, but we also liaise with policymakers, industry associations and investment associations. We also liaise with other European and international stakeholders in order to safeguard the access to medicines and healthcare products to the benefit of the patient. The agency is fastly evolving in line with the current regulatory framework and the network strategy in Europe. Just a few examples of the key evolutions in Europe. First of all, the revision of the current pharma legislation, the upcoming new legislations that have been implemented in Europe, such as the clinical trial regulation, the medical device regulation, and the IVDR. And of course, not to forget all the scientific and technological evolutions in the market. As part of the complex and fastly evolving EU regulatory landscape, the key mission of the agency is to facilitate the advancements and innovation in medicines and healthcare products to the benefit of the patient, and by doing so also to accelerate patient access. Some examples of how we try to facilitate innovation in Belgium and Europe is, for example, by providing one-stop shop solutions in regulatory approvals of clinical trial applications and scientific advice requests, or also by creating innovation office activities, in particular for small, medium enterprises and also global companies and innovators. For instance, by providing simultaneous national advice in different member states at once. From a Belgian viewpoint, I wish to highlight the strategic importance of the National Innovation Office for both the pharma and medtech industry. The National Innovation Office is also a key facilitator for creating long-term partnerships, for instance with the Korean Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, KOTRA. We also have strategic partnerships with the Wallonia Export and Investment Agency, as well as with Flanders Investment and Trade and the Brussels Business Support Agency. The Belgian Innovation Office is also the key interface with the European network of innovation offices that has been installed since 2017 within the European network. Furthermore, the Belgian agency and its innovation office can also act as a first local, easily accessible contact point for innovators and companies, and to help them guide through the EU regulatory landscape. The National Innovation Office can also act as a first gateway for innovators and companies trying to explore opportunities, for instance, for R&D, manufacturing, distribution, as well as market access in Europe. In this context, I want to reiterate the importance of early dialogue and open interaction with the Belgian Medicines Agency. So to conclude, if you consider approaching the European or Belgian market, we, the Belgian Agency for Medicines and Healthcare Products, are there to help you.
Okay, that was the video of Mr. Lahort from our national agency. And now I suggest that we look at the video of Mr. Toussaint. Thank you.
The Belgium Wallonia life science industry is a very dense ecosystem and value chain, one of the densest in Europe, with a lot of actors that are small and emerging ones, but also mature companies and very large players such as GSK, UCB, Takeda, that have large facilities in Belgium, Wallonia. Along the value chain, there are a lot of actors that are present, from sourcing, procurement actors, grouping companies and purchasing actors, but also CDMOs such as Catalent, Thermo Fisher, Mitra, Eurogentech, Exotera, that are represent big manufacturing activities, fill and finish actors, packaging specialized companies, transportation and logistics players such as Liège Airport, which is one of the main airports in the world, as well as a lot of service companies which are constantly growing our value chain here in Europe, Belgium, Wallonia. To develop a value chain which is so performing here in Europe, we are working on every pillar of the value chain. So we're working on the logistics to make the flows very easy. We work with players that are active in sub-markets such as ATMP, cell engine, cold chain, or the airport industry, but also the customs sector. We're working on the whole ecosystem to reinforce it in a permanent way. We're working also on the image of the sector to make it very attractive for talents internationally, but also to improve the performance of it. We work on the service pillars with a lot of actors that are present in terms of regulatory services, in terms of support for recruitment, in terms of packaging and transportation activities, but all the services around the value chain. Some of the pillars that are really reinforced are typically talent, human resources. We're developing an EU biotech school, but also a lot of programs in links with life science, which makes the talents available in the area. Working on the supply and the sourcing aspect, which is also becoming a key aspect for the industry. One of the main pillars is also R&D, where we have a lot of support. Hundreds of millions of euros are invested yearly in R&D projects, also in the life science industry. And we're working also a lot with 8 universities that are very involved in the R&D for the life science industry. And last but not least, we're working also on the infrastructure. You can find a lot of infrastructure which are ready for the digital transformation of the industry, also like free-to-share CDMO services, incubators, airports, manufacturing activities. So the infrastructure is also one of our pillars that we are reinforcing here in Europe, Belgium, Wallonia. So our role is to provide you with a good solution in terms of EU market entry, EU market development, and our solutions are very different to others in Europe because they offer a better time to market and also a better value for money. So by relying on us, you can make sure that you will get access to a very strong value chain in the center of Europe and that you can find the best solution for your development in Europe in the future years.
Okay, so that was the video of Mr. Toussaint, and I think we will now talk to him live. Just a little bit more patience. Thank you. Hello, Frank. Greetings from Seoul.
Hello, happy to be with you today. Not live, but virtually, but that's a pleasure for me to be here.
That's great. Frank, to start our discussion, I wanted to ask you a question. What kind of services a value chain expert like you can offer to Korean companies that want to approach the European market?
Currently, actually, as everyone knows, the world has become very hectic with a lot of challenges for the industry, and in the same way with a lot of development. So the challenges are numerous, while the opportunities are great. So along the value chain, actually, we can help companies in all the challenges that they are facing. Maybe on finding reliable partners in terms of sourcing supplies of materials, where we guide them into identifying the right partner, but also the service companies, with the booklet that you've brought to the table. The Wallonia Belgium offers a wide range of qualified service companies, and we'll have a testimonial from QBD afterwards, which is a good example of it. So we can help Korean companies into these services, and we try to work on every pillar of the value chain in order to make the solutions ready in a very short time frame. So typically, depending on the project, we can help to build it all up to the right way. When a company has a manufacturing site project, typically what we have identified that we can gain 1 or 2 years time frame in terms of setting up the project. How we can do that? By facilitating the permits and guiding into that, getting some permits in a couple of weeks, by finding the right plot of land, by finding the right equipment and partners, but also working on the talent side, by helping companies to recruit easily some people. So that's really what we're looking at, is how we can ourselves provide value to the project of the company regarding to what is their specific need. So that's our role, ourselves as value chain expert. But that's also, I would say, the perspective we bring to the industry. As you've briefly seen through the testimonial, the life science industry is very dense. It has been so for decades. Because life science companies have believed in Belgium, Wallonia, like GSK and some other, but as everyone in the room knows, the industry has changed, the businesses have changed. So we constantly have to adapt to new, I would say, innovation, new challenges. Maybe on the science side, where you see UCB, it was previously a chemical group, moved to pharma, and then there are Latin ATMP, and all that was done within Wallonia, Belgium, because they found, I would say, everything to provide a value, but that's also concerning the challenges of the companies themselves. I briefly mentioned that we're working on digital infrastructure. That's really a key pillar for us to accompany companies into their digital transformation by, I would say, guiding them, but also providing with the right infrastructure to be able to cope with the digital challenges of the future. So that's really our role, to look at all these elements as value chain specialists.
Thank you, Frank. As you know, Frank, we also have a booth at this BIOPLUS-INTERPHEX Korea. And one of the questions that come up quite frequently from Korean companies that visit our booth is the following one. What about the environment for clinical trials in Belgium? Is there anything special we have to say, or we could say, about clinical trials in Wallonia, Belgium?
Yes, of course, and that's typically also a specific value chain that we have in terms of clinical trials. So we have, I would say, numerous assets that you can find over there. Following the explanation from our experts from a regulatory agency, first we have a fastest approval track for phase 1 clinical trials in Europe. This is one key element for us. Of course, I would say we have actors along the value chain as well. So typically regarding the service providers or the suppliers of materials, lab equipment, and all the elements, that's natural that they are there. We have a cluster of clinical research, which is BICRO. We have clinical research units, which are very dense, working from phase 1 to phase 3. To give you a testimonial, Pfizer has 2 major clinical trials sites in the world, one in US and one in Belgium. So for the last 50 years, the major innovation from Pfizer took place over there for the phase 1 clinical trials, and they've constantly grown from there. But we have also challenges and opportunities around this sector. So that's constantly growing. Also in terms of logistics, there are CROs specialized in logistics services doing the blistering, the packaging solutions, and that. So that's really one of the densest places in Europe and also in the world in terms of clinical trials. And recently, also a Canadian company told me that it was so attractive that to have the possibility to conduct trials within different hospitals that are very close to each other. So in a very, I would say, small territory, you can find a whole ecosystem for clinical trials, which is also supported by a lot of innovation. So that's really key for us, that the innovation continue to take place over there. And that's, I would say, the whole ecosystem regarding clinical trials continue to evolve.
Thank you, Frank. And do you know about any companies that use Wallonia to reach out to other continents, for example, Africa or the USA?
Yeah. By nature, Belgium is a small territory, so all the companies that are there are mostly international. So we've seen that with the Pfizer vaccine that were manufactured in first that anyone knows in the world, but that was not by chance that everything took place so smoothly. So they exported quite easily in the pandemic world to every continent in the world, where all planes were down, so that was working quite well. But of course, there are a lot of collaboration with neighboring countries in terms of clinical research or or exportation. So that's also one attractive point of the area, is that it's surrounded by countries like Germany, France, the Netherlands, and through the train to UK. So we're really at the heart of this market. And of course, with Africa, the main base is Belgium, with Brussels and Liège airport that are the most connected airport, but also to Asia. For example, we can use the trains to export. There are 10 trains a week from the Liège area to China. So that's very well connected, and that's a country which is oriented to the world, and typically also, of course, to Asia. So that's very frequent for the companies that are based there.
Frank, our time is a little short, but I will still ask you one question. What about small and medium-sized companies? As you know, in Korea, there's a vibrant ecosystem of starting biotech companies. Do we have anything that we could offer them, you think?
Yes, because we have the similar approach. I would say that's the heart of our life science ecosystem, and also the proof that the innovation is still there is that 90% of the companies are small and medium companies. So, of course, if the Korean companies would join us over there, they will land in a country which is supporting a lot of SMEs. We have R&D grants for projects that can go up to 80% of the financing of a project, and a lot of accompaniment which is there, and our role is also to accompany them step by step and hand by hand also into their development. So yeah, of course, they are more than welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. So
my pleasure.
I think because we were just talking about SMEs, maybe it's the good time to listen to Mr. Moreau, if he's online.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. But we can't see you yet.
Can you see me? No? Can you see me? Because I see me on the screen, on the Zoom.
All right, here you are. Hi.
Okay.
Also
hello,
to you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Also to you, Mr. Moreau. Greetings from Seoul. And I let you speak because I think you wanted to say something about the company CubeID and about the reasons why you opened an office in Wallonia, Belgium.
Yes. So first of all, I would like to thank you, BIOPLUS and Arex, to invite me today to present QBD. And I will start to share my screen as I have a few slides. Can you see my slide in Korea?
Not yet. All right.
Okay. So QBD has been started in 11 years ago by Bart Van Acker, who is still our CEO today. And we are having more than 450 people across the world. And of those 450, we have 250 people in Belgium. So the headquarters is on the Flemish side, but a few years ago, we decided to create QBD Wallonia because we want to be much more close to the ecosystem in Wallonia, and I will come back to that later on. So QBD, we are a consulting company supporting the life science company, and we are supporting company from the startup with 1 or 2 people, the biotech company, the medtech, but we are also working with large companies like Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and GSK. Our expertise can be split in those 7 business units. So we have 1 business unit to support all the qualification and validation. It can be the qualification and validation of equipment, clean room, labs. We can qualify and validate nearly everything that a pharmaceutical company or a medical device company need. Then the second division is the quality assurance. We can help company to obtain the GMP license if they want to produce medicinal product, or to obtain the ISO 13485 if they want to be a medical device company, and we can support to get that accreditation in the notified body located in Belgium. The third division is a regulatory one. So there we have 3 subdivisions. We have the first one who is focusing on all the medicinal product and the ATMP. We have a second division supporting all the medical device. And then the third division is the division supporting all the in vitro diagnostic, like we heard already today, all the IVDM regulation from Mr. Laporte. The fourth division is quite a big one. We have more than 80 people in Belgium to help our partner to support the clinical study. So we can start the clinical study from phase 1 up to phase 4, so the post-marketing clinical study. And we can do the clinical study from A to Z. So we can do everything, supporting our partner and running for them the clinical study. It can be in Belgium, it can be in Wallonia, it can be in Europe, or it can be across the world, as we are running more than 40 clinical studies in the 5 regions. The fifth business unit is quality control. So we have a QC labs, which is certified GMP. So we can test the API, we can test the drug substance, the drug product, and we can also release the product for our partner on the Belgian market. The sixth business unit is the go-to-market. So we can also support the partner, so our customer, to go with their product on the market and to execute a business plan. And finally, we have a software division where we can validate all the software that we are using in the pharmaceutical industry, but also in the digital health, more and more we are using application to monitor the health of the patient, or also follow the clinical study. So we have a very strong also software division where we are doing the business. So we are doing, like I say, mainly business in medical device, where we can, we have knowledge with implantable, in vitro diagnostic, digital health of all other medical device that we can figure out on the market. On the medicinal products, we have expertise with small molecule, biotech, but also we have a strong knowledge in ATM. So why QBD decide, knowing that we have the headquarters in Antwerp, so in the north of Belgium, why we decide to have an entity with employees in Wallonia is that there are clearly an ecosystem in Wallonia supporting the life science company. And we have 2 big, I will say, centers. We have a center that we call Biopark in Gosselies, so close to the Charleroi airport, where QBD Wallonia has its office. And we have also a second big center, which is the Legia Park in Liège. And in those 2 centers, it's a very good ecosystem to stimulate small company, mid-sized company, or large company to grow and to do their business in the life science. Also, there are a lot of support from the authorities and also from the invest company, like we have Sandra Invest or Noshak, to mention a few of them. And like Mr. Toussaint said, we have several CDMO in Wallonia. So it's quite easy also to produce the medicinal product or the medical device when you want to start a phase 1 or a phase 2 or later go to the market. So I thank you for your attention, and I thank you again for BIOPLUS-INTERPHEX to invite us today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moreau. I still have a question. You talked about clinical trials. If Korean company wants to do clinical trial, is it okay? They will first do a small clinical trial in Belgium and maybe later in Europe, or how do you see that?
So Belgium is a very, very good country to start a clinical study. Like it has mentioned early today, they are kind of fast track to get the start of a phase 1. Also, our authority, so the AFMPS or FHGG, is very reactive. So it's very easy to get a scientific advice with them, to have very good advice and to be able to start a phase 1. And from Belgium with the EMA, it's also very easy after the phase 1 to use Belgium as a platform and to go to the phase 2 using different countries in Europe. So I will say, and in my previous career, when I was at Bone Therapeutic, we started clinical study in Belgium. It was very easy. There are good support, and QBD with our team, we can help Korea company to do a clinical study here from A to Z, and we can support them from the starting till the end of the clinical study. It can be phase 1, 2, or 3 without problem.
Thank you very much. And maybe to Mr. Toussaint, I don't know if he's still online, but in case Mr. Toussaint or Mr. Moreau, we've heard that there's major companies like GSK and Takeda and Lonza and so on who have operations in Wallonia. Is there any reason, specific reason you think that they established in Wallonia or in Belgium? Mr. Moreau, maybe, because I only see you on the screen.
Oh, okay. So yeah, in Belgium, it's very easy also to get some support from the government. So when you do research and development, you can get some discount on the cost of the employment. So there are clearly in Belgium and in Wallonia an ecosystem to stimulate the research and development. So where the company is getting support from the authority first, but also we have a very good university, we have very good school. So we have very talented people, and like that's highlighted early on. So Belgium was a key player in the production of the vaccine for the COVID. I heard early that there was Pfizer in first, but there also AstraZeneca was produced at the Thermo Fisher site in Wallonia. So here we have clearly on one side an ecosystem to support the company to try to have some discount in the investments, but on the other side, it's quite easy to find a lot of talent and to attract talent to Wallonia. And that I think the combination of those two factors help the company to come in Wallonia and also to grow in Wallonia.
Yeah, I see Frank again. Maybe Frank can add something.
Yeah, no, that's I would say not by chance that all of this happened. Actually, when GSK set up manufacturing operations, they continued to invest in R&D. So it has also filled in, I would say, the pipeline of production afterwards. But then there is also a strong support in biomanufacturing activities. One good example was the start of CMO activities from scratch in cell and gene more than 10 years ago, supported by the region, an organization called MasterCell. And that was bought by Catalent for a couple €100 million, because that was really a very good site with talented people. And Catalent has made of Wallonia his heart in Europe for development of manufacturing for TMP. So I would say that's a long story. And once the people are there, they continue investing. That's why also Thermo Fisher has believed in Wallonia, that the companies are growing. So that's typically one of the most interesting ecosystem. Sometimes people know Ireland or Switzerland, but Belgium is typically also, I would say, as strong in terms of manufacturing activities.
Thank you.
If I can add a comment, that if we look at UCB for the moment, so although it's a Belgian company, they decide to invest in cell and gene therapy. So it is the first investment for them, and they decided to do it in Belgium. So it was possible for them to do in another country and perhaps to go to in a country like America. But UCB, they decide that the first investment in cell and gene therapy will occur in Belgium, in Braine-l'Alleud, so in Wallonia, and they will invest there more than 200 million to set up the first production site for them, because they want to produce in Belgium, and they want also to use for the clinical study the facility that they can have in Belgium for that, and from Belgium to go through Europe to grow the clinical study to a phase 2 or a phase 3.
Okay, Mr. Moreau, Mr. Toussaint from Seoul, we want to thank you so much for your time today, and we hope that we will be able to talk to you again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Yes, so thank you very much for assisting this discussion together. And also, if you have any question, do not hesitate to contact us. You can call us, or you can write to us, or we can exchange business cards now. So, Dedani Kamsahamnida.